Hello my Whoop friends. Is the Lava 2 95C Lipo really that much better than the Tattu 75C? We will find out together in this video, in which I did static thrust tests with the new Lava 2 1S 320 mAh 95C Lipos and the Tattu 1S 300 mAh 75C Lipo, using a high kV and a medium or low kV tiny whoop. In this video I will mainly compare the C rate of these two LiPos. That means how well the LiPo can hold voltage under load, or in other words, how high the voltage sag is. For the beginner pilots among you, voltage sag is the enemy for tiny whoop race pilots. On the one hand because the throttle feel gets worse, and on the other hand because the efficiency becomes lower and the flight time shorter during full send race sessions.
Important for beginner pilots to know is that the flight time of both LiPos is practically the same in hover flight. That means if you are still a beginner pilot and flight time is the most important thing for relaxed cruising, then both LiPos are fine for you. In that case, almost any other folded cell LiPo would also be fine for you. For example, the first version of the Lava LiPos from Beta FPV, the thrust test clearly confirmed my feeling from the previous test flights. The new Lava 2 1S 320 mAh 95C Lipos actually have the highest C rate I have ever experienced in a 1S 300 mAh long-form Lipo. That means if you want the highest C rate because your flight style is very demanding and you often use 100% throttle during flight, then the Lava 2 95C Lipo is the right choice for you. The difference in voltage after a few seconds of full throttle is very clearly visible in the thrust tests in this video, with high kV as well as with low kV motors. With high kV, of course, more and more dramatic. However, this does not mean that the Tattu 75C Lipo is bad. Especially if you only use 100% throttle briefly for a split second, then the Tattu 75C Lipo can also deliver, as you can clearly see later in the thrust tests. The maximum thrust is about the same with both LiPos. This applies to both the high kV motors and the low or medium kV motors, as you will see later in this video. In summary, I can say that the Lava 2 1S 320 mAh 95C Lipos definitely have a very high C rate, which is decisive for many pilots. But that does not suddenly make the Tattu 1S 300 mAh 75C Lipos bad Lipos. However, I do think that the Lava 2 95C Lipos could replace the Tattu 75C Lipos in the future if it turns out that their longevity is about the same or even better. The ratio between 75C and 95C is probably roughly correct in this case. The absolute C rate aside, but the ratio is correct, I would say. For the thrust tests, I set all PIDs to 0 and always use the same LiPos on the same day, so the results are roughly comparable. I am aware that the tests are not accurate to 1/10 of a gram, but that is not necessary in this case since the differences are relatively large. The thrust tests obviously do not represent reality 100%. They are not absolute numbers, but the results perfectly reflect my feeling and the results from my real-life test flights. And that is why the test methodology is accurate enough for me and probably accurate enough for most other pilots as well. Personal opinion. My personal opinion is the following. I like the Lava 2 a little more. The difference is quite noticeable in flight. The Lava 2 Lipos are not really necessary for my moderate freestyle race flight style though. And I have to say that I also like something about the Tattu Lipos. Probably the Tattu Lipos can deliver the current a split second earlier than the Lava 2 Lipos, but then cannot hold the voltage as long because of the lower C rate. You could also interpret that a little bit from the thrust tests, although not very precisely because the tests are not designed for that. My personal conclusion is that I can live with both LiPos, but at the moment I prefer the Lava 2 LiPos, especially because the price is about the same. The longevity of the Lava 2 LiPos is still unclear. That still needs to be seen. But if the longevity also turns out to be good, then I will probably stick with the Lava 2 LiPos. By the way, if you find Tattu 95C Lipos, you can expect about the same performance as from the Lava 2 Lipos. They are probably even manufactured in the same factory. I will not speak or comment on the rest of the video. I created chapters so you can easily navigate through the video. If you like the video, then consider supporting this channel to secure the future of this YouTube channel. The options and links to support this channel can be found in the video description. Also, check out the many other comparison, tutorial, and proof videos on this YouTube channel. Now enjoy the video. Happy flying, my whoop friends.
Some additional information can be found in the video description. Please watch my many other tutorials on this YouTube channel if you want to know more about how to modify a tiny boop or how to learn FPV flying and racing.